Hi, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick video on number 15, back on quiz 3-3. This was one of those topics that unfortunately you guys kind of had to learn on your own while I was out. And I just want to make sure that any misconceptions we have are cleared up before your chapter test. So 15 asks us to write a polynomial function in standard form given the zeros. So right now for number 15, we're given the zeros are -1/2, and we're given that one of the other zeros is -5 plus I. What we know based on the conjugate root theorem is that if we have a complex root, in this case -5 plus I, well, we also have its conjugate, or -5 minus I, as a root as well. Okay, so we just want to keep that in mind that here we actually have three roots that are given, even though we're only told about two. So from here, what we're going to do is we have to figure out how to put these in parentheses. Now, this might be a pattern that you guys are comfortable seeing. It might be something that you still need to kind of work through, and either way is fine. But basically for this, let's look at -1/2 first. For -1/2, what we can say is that x is equal to -1/2. And what we want to do is we want to find what the parentheses are going to be if we instead set that equal to 0. So we could add 1/2, but that doesn't help a whole lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to multiply both sides by 2, and then I'll add the 1. So that gets us so that everything is linear, we don't have any fractions, and what we're left with is this 2x plus 1 idea. Okay, so that's going to be our first set of parentheses when we're writing this polynomial, that f of x is equal to 2x plus 1. For the other two, for the complex roots, I always go about this using brackets and parentheses because I find it a little bit easier to work with. So I always know I've got x minus c, but in this case, the c is -5 plus I for the first one. And then for the second one, x minus -5 minus I. So what's happening with some of these is, especially with the extra negatives, we're kind of losing them and they're getting lost along the way. So this is the way that I always set up a problem so that I can make sure that I have all of the zeros where they need to go. Sorry, all the negatives where they need to go. What I'm going to do next is actually distribute the negatives in both of the parentheses, and I'm going to end up with two trinomials that I'll multiply. So I have x plus 5 minus I, and then I've got x plus 5 plus I. I always try to take care of the complex pieces first. So what I'm actually going to do is do a triple distribution. So the first term into all three and the second set of parentheses, the second term, etc. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to worry about that other binomial afterwards. So let's see what happens when we do that. F of x is equal to, I'm just going to rewrite that 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to go through and do that multiplication. X squared plus 5x plus ix. Let's do the 5 next. So that gives me plus 5x plus 25 plus 5i. And then we'll do that negative I last. So minus ix minus 5i, and then minus I squared. What you should find if you do this correctly is that all of the i's should cancel out. So I've got a plus ix here and a minus ix here. Good eye. I have a negative 5i here, a positive 5i here. Those are also going to cancel and go away. This I squared, well, I squared is actually -1, right? Or I is the square root of -1, so I squared is -1. This whole thing becomes a +1. I'm even going to get rid of that negative out in front. So what I can do now is go through and combine all my like terms. I've got some 5x's and some constants that I can put together. So I've got f of x equals 2x plus 1 times what's left, x squared plus 10x. 25 and 1 is plus 26. From here, I've got one more piece that I'm going to have to multiply through. I'll take that 2x and multiply it into everything, and then I'll take the 1 and I'll multiply it into everything. That'll be my last step. and then combining like terms. So f of x equals 2x cubed plus 20x squared plus 52x. All right, and then I'll take the 1 plus x squared plus 10x plus 26. From there, I'll go through and I'll combine my like terms and I'll have my final answer. So the x squareds are going to go together, the x's are going to go together, and that's it. So I've got f of x equals 2x cubed plus 21x squared plus 62x plus 26. That should be your final answer for the last question on our quiz 3-3. And it makes sense. We figured out in the very beginning that we had 3 zeros. So having a corresponding degree of 3 makes sense for this problem. So I hope that that brings a little clarity. Again, it's kind of my method. If you guys have another way of doing it where you feel comfortable, great. This video I just wanted to put together to make sure everybody had a way, whether it's yours or mine, and getting ready for tomorrow's Friday's chapter test. Hope this is helpful, and I will talk to you guys really soon. Thanks. Bye.